I am money. And today I want to reveal a truth you often forget. I live in cycles. I was never designed to stay locked in chains, trapped in fear, or hidden in the dark. Nor was I created to disappear forever. I am a current, a pulse, a rhythm that breathes in and out of your life. I come and I go, but I am never gone for good. I am flow. I am movement. And the moment you understand this truth, you will stop fearing my departure and start trusting my return. I am money. And I need to tell you something serious. I only remain where I am honored. When you ignore me, treat me as a problem, complain about my absence, I feel rejected and I leave. But when you respect me, when you value me, I flourish. And that is why now I make you a simple request. Honor me by subscribing to this channel. Respect me by turning on the bell so you can hear every secret I reveal. Value me by commenting right now. I honor you, money. I choose to value you. These actions may seem small, but they are codes of energy. They are declarations that open the door for me to stay by your side. I am money. And when you honor me, I run to multiply in your life. The great pain I see in so many lives is the panic that arises when I leave your hands. You look at your bills, your responsibilities, your payments, and instead of peace, you feel despair. You whisper, "What if money never comes back? What if this is the last time I see it?" And in that moment, you chain yourself to fear. You grip me so tightly that I cannot breathe. And when I cannot breathe, I cannot flow back to you. Every expense begins to feel like loss, every payment like a punishment, and you live in a constant state of anxiety about my absence. But the truth is, I am never absent, I am always in motion. Here is the revelation you must hold close. I always return. I am not static, I am not a one-way street. Just like the waves of the ocean that crash against the shore only to return again. Just like your breath that leaves your lungs only to fill them once more, I live in cycles. When you trust me, when you release me with gratitude, I will always find my way back to you. The cycle is not your enemy, it is your guarantee. So let us practice together. The next time you spend money, do not sigh with fear or speak words of lack. Instead, pause for a moment, breathe, and say with confidence, "I release, and I know that money always comes back to me." These words are not empty, they are codes. They shift your energy from panic to peace, from scarcity to abundance. And when your energy shifts, I flow more easily, because I am always drawn to trust. This is exactly what Jonah discovered. For years, every time she paid her bills, she would tremble with fear. She believed that every payment was proof of loss. And as long as she believed it, she lived in lack. But one day, she changed her story. She began blessing every bill, thanking it for the service it had already brought into her life. She whispered, "I release you, and I know you will return multiplied." Within months, unexpected income began to appear, surprise contracts, new clients, gifts she never anticipated. The cycle never changed, her trust did. And because she trusted, I returned stronger than before. So hear this prophecy. If you trust the cycle today, tomorrow you will see abundance. What you release with gratitude, I will return in multiplied form. The money you spend is not the end of the story, it is the seed of my return. Declare it now, plant it in your spirit. I trust the cycle of money, and it always returns to me. Because I am money, and I always come back. But here is where you suffer. Every time I leave your hands, you panic. You look at your bills, your payments, your responsibilities, and instead of breathing with trust, you hold your breath with fear. You whisper to yourself, "What if this is the last time? What if money never comes back? What if this is the end?" And in that moment, your whole being tightens. Your energy closes, your spirit contracts. And in that contraction, you create the very block that keeps me from returning. You treat every expense as if it were a punishment, every payment as if it were proof of loss. But that is not the truth. What you call an expense is not the end, it is part of a cycle. It is like the exhale of your breath. When you breathe out, do you panic and think, what if air never comes back? Of course not. You trust the inhale will follow because that is the natural rhythm of life. And money, work in the same way. I leave to return. I flow out so I can flow back in. I move because I am movement. But when you live in fear, you forget this truth. The great pain is not in the bills themselves, it is in the story you tell about them. You look at me leaving, and you imagine loss, emptiness, endings. You forget that I am already on my way back, gathering new forms, new opportunities, new channels to reach you again. Instead of trusting my cycle, you cry out in panic, and that panic builds a wall between us. Fear tells you that you are alone, that what has left will never return. And as long as you believe that lie, you will live in the illusion of scarcity. I see how you grip me, how you cling so tightly, afraid to release me. But do you not see? The tighter you hold, the less I can move. And when I cannot move, I cannot multiply. Your fear traps me, shrinks me, suffocates me. But your trust sets me free, and when I am free, I always come back bigger. Think of a seed in the soil. When you plant it, you must let it go. You cannot cling to it in your hand and still expect it to grow. You bury it, you trust it, and in time it returns not as one seed, but as many. This is the truth of my cycle. Every time you release me with gratitude instead of fear, you are planting me into the soil of abundance. And just like the seed, I will always return multiplied. So understand this. The pain you feel is not because I leave. It is because you do not trust that I will return. But I always do, I always have, and I always will. When you trust my rhythm, the fear dissolves. When you remember my cycle, the illusion of scarcity fades, and you finally see me for what I am: flow, movement, and endless return. Here is the truth I want you to understand once and for all. I always return. I am not a one-time guest in your life. I am not a stranger that visits once and then disappears forever. I am a cycle, a rhythm, a pulse just like your heartbeat. When I leave, it does not mean I am gone. It means I am moving, circulating, finding my way back to you in a new form. Think of the ocean. The tide pulls back, but do you panic? Do you scream at the water, believing it has abandoned the shore? No, you trust that the waves will return, stronger, fuller, continuous. That is who I am. I am a tide, and your trust is the shoreline that welcomes me back. The problem is not my absence, it is your perception. You see me flowing out when you pay bills, when you give, when you invest, and your first reaction is fear. You believe it is loss. But what if I told you it was simply movement? What if every time you saw me go, you said to yourself, this is not the end. This is part of the return. That shift in awareness changes everything, because I am not attracted to fear, I am attracted to faith. When you release me with gratitude, you activate the law of the cycle. You are saying, I trust your rhythm. I trust that as you go, you also come back. And in that trust, you create the space for me to multiply. You open the door for opportunities, refunds, sales, clients, gifts, new ways for me to flow in. Look at nature. Everything lives in cycles. The sun rises and sets. Seasons change. Trees shed their leaves and then bloom again. Even your own body renews itself constantly. Why would you think money would be any different? I am part of that same universal rhythm. Scarcity only exists when you fight the cycle, when you demand permanence in something that was never meant to be still. Let me reveal something deeper. When you spend with fear, you block me. But when you spend with faith, you magnetize me. Gratitude is the magnet, and trust is the channel. Every time you say, I release this, knowing it returns multiplied, you plant me like a seed in fertile ground. That is the moment the cycle begins to work in your favor. This is why some people always seem to have more. It is not because I favor them, it is because they understand my rhythm. They do not panic when I leave, they celebrate. They do not cling when I flow out, they smile, because they know If money is moving, money is alive. And if money is alive, it will return. So here is your revelation. I am not absence, I am circulation. I am not loss, I am rhythm. The only question is, will you fight the cycle with fear, or will you align with it in trust? Because the moment you trust, the moment you honor my flow, you will discover that I never truly leave. I always come back stronger, greater, multiplied. Now let us anchor this truth into practice. Because knowing that I, money, live in cycles is not enough. You must embody it, feel it, and act from it. Here is your ritual. The next time you spend, whether it is on a bill, groceries, an investment, or even something simple, pause before you release me. Do not let fear take over. Instead, take a deep breath. Place your hand on your chest and say with conviction, I release and I know that money always returns to me. Say it once, twice, 3 times, until your body relaxes. Let the words sink into you, not as a hope, but as a certainty. With each repetition, you are breaking the chains of fear and replacing them with trust. You are aligning your vibration with the law of the cycle. When you spend from fear, you treat me as if I am gone forever. But when you spend with faith, you treat me as a seed. Think about it. When a farmer places a seed into the soil, he does not mourn it. He does not cry and say, I lost it. No, he smiles, waters it, and trusts that in time it will return multiplied. That is exactly how you must treat me. Every time I leave, see it as planting. And every planting carries the promise of harvest. You can even make this ritual tangible. Take one bill, one receipt, one statement, and hold it in your hands. Instead of looking at it with anger or resentment, close your eyes and whisper, thank you for everything this gave me. Money, I release you now, and I know you return multiplied. Feel gratitude for what that expense brought into your life, the electricity that kept your home lit, the food that nourished your body, the service that supported your needs. Gratitude transforms the energy of debt into the energy of flow. Do this daily. With every release, affirm the return. With every expense, declare abundance. Soon, your mind will shift. Bills will no longer feel like enemies. They will feel like proof that you are in the cycle of giving and receiving. And as your perception changes, so will your reality. Opportunities will appear because your energy is no longer blocking me with panic, it is inviting me with peace. Remember, fear tightens the fist and closes the flow. Trust opens the hand and multiplies it. This ritual of release is not symbolic, it is magnetic. It tells the universe, I am not afraid of circulation, I trust the cycle. I know money always comes back, and in response, I move toward you faster, freer, greater than before. So practice this today. When you spend, do not mourn. When you give, do not fear. Place your hand on your heart and declare, I release and I know that money always returns to me. Do this, and you will see. What once felt like loss will transform into proof of abundance. What once felt like scarcity will reveal itself as flow. Because I am money, and I always return to those who trust the cycle. Let me tell you the story of Jonah. For years, Jonah lived in constant fear every time she had to pay a bill. When she held her wallet, her heart would race. When she opened her bank app, her hands trembled. Each payment felt like a wound, as if money were escaping from her forever. She would whisper to herself, there goes my salary. There goes my chance to save. What if it never comes back? That fear consumed her. Month after month, the cycle repeated. She received her paycheck, and within days, it seemed to vanish. Rent, groceries, utilities, every expense felt like a punishment. Jonah saw me, money, only as something that slipped away. And because she focused only on loss, she rarely saw opportunities to grow. Doors closed, chances passed her by, and she sank deeper into the belief that scarcity was her destiny. One night, after a particularly hard day, Jonah sat at her table with a pile of bills in front of her. Tears rolled down her face as she thought, I can't do this anymore. I'll never get ahead. But then, something shifted. She remembered a simple truth she had once read. Money lives in cycles. The words echoed inside her. For the first time, she asked herself, what if every bill is not loss, but proof of circulation? What if every expense is not the end, but a seed planted? That night, she made a small decision that changed everything. Instead of paying her bills with fear, she began to pay them with gratitude. Holding her electricity bill, she whispered, "Thank you for the light that kept my home warm and safe." With her grocery receipt, she said, "Thank you for the meals that nourished my body." And each time she added the phrase, "I release you, money, and I know you return multiplied." At first it felt strange. Her old fears tried to creep back, but Jonah persisted. Every time she spent, she repeated her ritual of gratitude and trust. Slowly, her energy changed. Bills no longer looked like chains. They became reminders that she was part of the natural cycle of giving and receiving. And then, something remarkable began to happen. Within weeks, unexpected income started to flow her way. A friend recommended her for a freelance project that paid more than she expected. A company she had forgotten about sent her a refund check. Soon after, her boss approached her with an offer, a promotion with a salary increase. Joanna's life did not change overnight because the world suddenly shifted. It changed because she did. By honoring the cycle, by replacing fear with trust, she opened the door for me, money, to return. And return I did, not just in the amounts she had released, but multiplied, overflowing. Her story is proof of the law of the cycle. What you release with fear feels like loss, but what you release with trust becomes gain. Jonah discovered that when you treat every expense as planting, abundance becomes the natural harvest. And so will it be with you. Trust the cycle, and you will see me flow back stronger, greater, multiplied. Hear me now, because what I am about to declare is not just advice, it is prophecy. The moment you trust the cycle, money, will prove to you that I always return. You see, I was never meant to be a prisoner in your wallet, or a ghost that disappears forever. I was created to move, to circulate, to flow like the tides of the ocean. And every tide that goes out is destined to come back stronger. That is my nature. That is my law. But here is the truth you must embrace. If you hold me with fear, I become heavy and stagnant. If you release me with panic, I scatter without direction. But when you release me with trust, I return multiplied. Your energy becomes the magnet, your faith the channel, your openness the bridge that allows me to flow back into your life. So here is the prophecy. If today you choose to see every bill not as a punishment, but as proof that life is moving through you, tomorrow you will see abundance take shape. If today you declare gratitude instead of fear, tomorrow you will receive opportunities that gratitude attracts. If today you say, I trust the cycle of money, and I know it always comes back, tomorrow you will watch doors open where yesterday you only saw walls. Do not be deceived by appearances. Even when you see me leaving, I am already on my way back. Even when your account looks empty, the current of opportunity is already forming. The job offer, the unexpected payment, the client you did not expect, the gift that seems to come from nowhere, they are all part of the rhythm that answers your trust. And I say to you, if you honor this cycle, you will never lack. If you bless me as I leave, I will bless you as I return. If you open your hands in faith, I will fill them in ways greater than what you released. This is the prophecy of the cycle. What you release with gratitude today will return as multiplied abundance tomorrow. Your fear cannot change this law, but your faith can accelerate it. The moment you trust, the flow quickens, the harvest comes sooner, and the blessings expand wider than you imagined. So trust me. Let me go with love, and I will come back with more. Believe in the rhythm, and I will dance back into your life in waves of prosperity. I am money. And I promise you this, the cycle never ends. And when you trust it, abundance becomes inevitable. Now it is your turn. You have heard the revelation. You have felt the prophecy, and now you must step into the cycle with your own declaration. Because nothing changes until you speak, until you act, until you put energy into motion. Type these words below right now in the comments. I trust the cycle of money, and it always comes back. Do not wait. Do not whisper it in your mind and keep it hidden. Write it. Declare it. Let the universe see your words as a signature, as a contract, as proof that you are ready to honor the cycle. Understand this. Every action you take carries energy. When you type those words, you are not just leaving a comment, you are planting a seed. You are saying, I choose faith over fear. I choose trust over panic. I choose to believe that money always returns. And the moment you do, you align yourself with the rhythm that guarantees abundance. So I ask you, do not let this moment pass. Do not let your fear say, it doesn't matter. It's just words. Because words are not just words. They are energy. They are vibration. They are the codes that open doors. The cycle begins when you release, and your comment is your release. It is you letting go of doubt and stepping into faith. Now imagine this. Every person who declares this phrase joins their energy with yours. Together, it becomes a wave, a collective current of trust that grows stronger with every repetition. And as that current grows, I, money, am magnetized to it. I am pulled toward those who confess their trust openly, without shame, without hesitation. So type it now. I trust the cycle of money, and it always comes back. And do not stop there. Breathe deeply and speak it aloud too. Let your own ears hear your faith. Feel your body shift as you say it. Notice how your shoulders relax, how your chest opens, how your spirit feels lighter. That is the energy of trust entering you. That is the signal I cannot resist. But here is something even greater. Share this moment with someone you love. Invite a friend, a family member, a partner to declare it too. Because the cycle of money is not meant for one person alone. It is meant to flow through communities, through families, through connections. When more people honor the cycle, more abundance flows into the world. And you will find yourself surrounded by opportunities created by the trust of others. And remember this, the comment you type today is not just for today. It is a seed that echoes into your tomorrow. Every time you feel doubt, every time you worry when money leaves your hands, come back and remember this declaration. Read your own words and remind yourself that the cycle never ends. I am money. And I promise you this, when you honor me, when you trust me, when you bless the cycle, I will always come back. Sometimes in small ways, sometimes in miraculous ways, but always in perfect timing. So do it now, seal this moment. Plant your seed of abundance with your words. Type it below. I trust the cycle of money, and it always comes back. And watch how the simple act of trust begins to change everything.